Morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday, the 16th of July. How time flies when you're having fun, eh? So, yeah, I had to look down at my phone and make sure it was Wednesday then, because this week is, I don't know where it's gone to. Anyway, let's get on and look at these markets. First things first, news events. Well, we've had inflation out this morning. Let's just go to the normal suspects. So before we look at that, let's just look at US inflation. Yesterday came in slightly higher than expected. On the year-on-year figure, it's 2.7 versus 2.6, which held the dollar pretty decently today. We got the PPI data coming out later for the US, but this morning we've seen the UK inflation coming out at 3.6 versus 3.4, which has seen the money market starting to immediately becoming a bit more tighter on the pound. Effectively, they don't expect cuts to be so much. Interest rates are going to be held up higher. Bond prices will be higher. It's not good. Anyway, let's move on. Let's look at what's going on here. The market, so just a PMI out later. Right, Euro US dollar then. This is to me is potentially, well, this is the only trade I can see at the moment if it sets up. Currently we're sort of in this downward movement. Price action, it's still holding at this stage, clearly seen on the 4 hourlies here, intermediate time frame, and clearly seeing is a bit of a bear flag going on there. So that is what I'm looking at. That's probably about the cleanest of the lot this morning. Pound could do similar, although it just took a bit of a shot here, but this to me is a breakdown of the trend there, heading down towards the S1. Might find that a bit sticky, depends on the PMI data later. If that's higher, that could help it down to that S1 quite quickly. Of course, the other way could, well, yeah, we could see the market move the other way if we get a weak PMI figure there. Anyway, the pound US dollar here heading southbound still. It's now broken the bigger trend line here just and closed below it. Intermediate wise, look, lower highs, lower lows. It's been strong since Friday, running through this week. Quite a strong sell-off. Things aren't looking good now. It's actually got the potential similar reversal here. It's had its little rally because of the data was stronger than expected, but inflation was higher. Realistically, that's no good for the pound anyway, or for the economy. More like it's not like it's a growing economy. We've got lots of growth and it's pushing up that way. This is stagflation. You've got an economy that's not growing and you've got inflation that is. It's the worst possible situation you can be in. Anyway, it's not to be surprised at, is it? So here we could see a reversal coming through here this morning, and likewise looking for the downside. It's just not so pretty, but that doesn't mean to say it won't work. It's just that it struggled back here to actually even get much of a retrace. It's that news that sort of pushed it for now. We'll see what happens post 8 o'clock. The rest of these markets I will just run through the majors. The yen continuing its weakness here with the US dollar strength, and it continues to strengthen basically, whichever way you want to look at it. Quite choppy and ugly in the short term here, so I'd probably would avoid that personally. Aussie dollar still looks quite ugly. It did yesterday eventually shove down. It had been looking in the morning there much more positive. If anything, it looked like it might have just gone back up there, but anyway, afternoon did it in, and it's looking quite softish at the moment, but it could be all change, but my preference with what's going on here is really the downside. but rather ugly compared to the other pairs. US dollar CAD, the CAD sort of holding in a bit on the dailies here. It's not sort of, we haven't got this big sort of trend or anything. You can see on the 4 hours here, it's quite ugly from last week into this week. It's been chopping around a little bit and it's quite ugly, and I'll leave it there. New Zealand dollar, a bit more like the Aussie, although slightly weaker. Selling off lower highs did come through this week, and we saw a continuation of that yesterday, which I was looking for. There we go, it broke down eventually yesterday afternoon there. This looks like it's still got some, well, the target of the pivot looks half decent on here. Could be a late entry on this, we'll see. Right, dollar Swissy, this is slipping back this morning. Again, it's not really moved massively compared to the likes of the pound and euro, which have moved, I say they moved massively, but the pound is starting to, but it's been pretty sideward until yesterday, but well, we'll see what happens. It too could break those highs and help all these shorts start making some money or get back into positive territory. We'll see. So you can see the strength of the market. Other pairs, euro yen, this finally hit my target yesterday. It took a lot of dancing around or whatever. It had moved, the stop had been moved up to break even as it hit the earlier level. I think it was up here, but about in the morning there, or maybe a little bit later. Anyway, that went on to hit target. It's not looking pretty at the moment. We'll see. Nothing for me to be done there. And a lot of these cross pairs, if you look at like the euro CAD, for example, if you look at the short time frame, similar picture to the euro dollar. So I'd rather trade the euro dollar if I'm going to trade one of them. The dollar's going to be stronger than the CAD most likely. So yeah, there we go. There's the cross pairs. So my preference, in summary, there on the currency side is either the euro dollar, maybe the pound dollar. On the shorts, looking for shorts on both of those. Other markets, gold. Gold chopping along here, not really doing too much at all. It's a little bit lost here. I mean, it did come off yesterday with the news, just as everything else did. It's a bit of an in-between. I don't really like it as it sits there. Oil still, I mean, it did come off quite sharply previous day. Yesterday, just not really going anywhere too much. It's broken out of this ascending, well, I say ascending channel. It isn't actually, it's a regression channel, but at the same time it's playing the role of an ascending channel. You can see where it is. We could see further correction to the downside, but it's quite ugly when you look at that yesterday. I'm just keeping out of oil personally at the moment. S&Ps consolidating around the highs here. With the higher inflation, not really looked on too well. We could be topping out here a little bit. We'll see if we get a break of these lows between the two highs. There'll be some divergence, I'm sure, going over that. If I can click on this, yeah, divergence just there still. So we've seen like a triple divergence here with the original high pushed up to this point, diverged, and it's just diverged again there. We'll see. It needs to break the low between the highs. Anyway, that's S&Ps. Looking at the FTSE, and you can see yesterday it came off a bit there, but really continued this morning, and I think we could, this might have topped out a little bit here. I'm saying might have. It's gone right into sort of R2 territory on the monthly basis there. Looking a bit on the ugly side. DAX, Now this has been a market that's been struggling over the last few days, and it's just continued to that downside. It's broken the low there, giving us a lower high, and to me it's the one that is the cleanest short, if you like, in terms of what's happening there. And you compare it with what's going on here overall. Well, there'll be some divergence over the tops there. Let's just click on here if I can. Oops, there you go. This is previous highs. Let's bring this down here. You see the divergence running over the top there. Break of this low here would be more of a significant correction, but on the short term there, lower highs, lower lows, looking on the soft side. Right, I shall leave it there. Nothing else to report. Just in summary then, the euro, maybe the pound, are looking potentially the best here. We'll see what happens here if this carries on pushing through. It's a bit like the New Zealand dollar yesterday. Was looking at the New Zealand pairs, and it just pushed on through wherever it was here. I was waiting for a breakdown. It just went, and then the very next bar and pushed on. We're not in it, so it doesn't cost us any money. Here we just actually, this is the third one that looks bearish. We just wait to see if they set up. So it's euro, the pound, or the New Zealand dollar potentially there. Right, I shall leave you there. Have a great day. Bye for now.